Hi guys, Andy here. You might have seen my unboxing of this Chuwi Hi8 dual boot tablet a few weeks back, or might even be a month or so back now. And to be honest, I've been struggling to be able to put the review together because I've realised I just don't really use tablets. You know, I've actually got an iPad through work, and quite often I just leave it at work because I have no use for it at home. If I want to play games, I've got a computer. If I need apps, I've got my phone. I just generally don't really have the need for a tablet. So, as I say, I've kind of struggled a little bit to do the review because I've not used it enough to form that much of an opinion of it. But I've put together something for you. Well, I'm going to put together now something for you, just so you have a rough idea of what we're dealing with here. So, here it is, the Chuwi Hi8. It's got odd kind of silver bands around the edges, but not along the base, look. And it even has, I don't know if the camera can focus that well on that, but it even has little sort of screws in the edge there. But not that they stick out. They, you can't feel them at all, so I guess no problem there. And it generally gives it quite a good feel in the hand. The only actual key you can see is the Windows key along the base there. That does function in both operating systems. So Android, that works as a home key as well. The buttons on the side, so we've got power and the volume rockers. They do feel a little bit cheap, sort of cheap and plasticky, but not to the point that they're any kind of an issue. The tablet itself is 8 inches, or has an 8-inch screen. The back is kind of a weird, sort of almost crosshatch, plasticky back cover. It does have a micro SD card slot. It only weighs 306 grams in total, so it's not a problem holding it for sort of prolonged periods of time. The device internals, it has a quad-core 2.16 gigahertz CPU, which is not bad going. Let's just boot up the benchmark software. So we see the 2.16 CPU. The GPU is an Intel HD graphics card for Bay Trail, whatever that means, and it has 2 gig of RAM. So, I mean, they're not amazing specs, but they're certainly not bad specs. By modern standards, maybe the 2 gig of RAM is the weaker point, because a 2 gigahertz CPU generally should be fine. I have no idea what the graphics card is, if I'm honest. I should point out as well that it doesn't have NFC or anything too fancy like that. So it only cost me around £80. You can't expect too much from it, I suppose, for that. It does have a speaker. Where has it gone? Bottom right. It's average, as long as it's not covered. So I did sort of try testing it with my decibel meter, and actually it made a big difference if I lifted it off the desk just a few millimeters. And obviously generally a tablet, unlike a phone, so I test all my phones laying on a desk because that's generally how I'm going to have them when they're playing sounds, music, whatever. But a tablet generally you're going to have held in your hand, maybe watching a YouTube video or something like that. As long as you don't cover the speaker up, it's not too bad. It's average. So here we see the scores. Single core just under 900, multi-core just over 2000. Average, it's okay. Top end devices, mobile phones are scoring. My Note 5 scores 5,000. What else? My Nexus 6P scores about 4,000. The Nexus 5X scored about 3.5. So it's not bad. It's not that it's an issue. What's it close to here? Look, the Nexus 5, it's not far from it. It beats the Galaxy S4. It beats even the Nexus 7 according to this. So, yeah, you see there's some of the things it's better than. Actually, that's not bad going, I guess. Definitely, if we let's go into a game just to... What have I got? Reckless Racing somewhere. Real Racing, sorry, not Reckless. Reckless Racing is the overhead gun. A little bit of drifting. Quite a hard right coming up. Use the car in front of me for slowing down. Grey Mill Bend, where I crashed my motorbike on that bend before in real life. So I don't know, I would say that's fairly smooth and slick. There's no problems there, is there? Whoa, apart from apart from my driving, of course. My excuse being I'm looking around the side of the camera and not really have a clue what's going on. Right, so I'm going to use the Windows key there to... So I wouldn't say any issues there. In fact, performance-wise, generally on Android, I was quite impressed with. On the whole, it's quite slick and smooth, and taking a little bit of time to load the pages back up that I was last on. The screen, so the screen itself, I don't think I got that far, did I? So it's 1920 by 1200, which I believe is 283 pixels per inch, and on the whole looks reasonable. I tested its brightness as well. It does okay, so it scores around 550 at peak. I don't know if that's nits or lux or however you want to call them, which isn't bad. So my Nexus 6P does kind of just over 600, and my Note does the high 700s. But again, you're going to use them outdoors. This is more for lounging about the house, I would think. So all in all, the hardware is okay. It's not bad. Again, we're only paying £80, so you can't expect too much. I should point out, the software on it is Android. Where's my settings key gone? Oh, it's top right, sorry. It's Android 4.4.4. As you can see there. In fact, there's no sort of check for updates bit there, which is a little bit weird. So I wouldn't be imagining, I wouldn't be buying this waiting then for Marshmallow to come along. It's unlikely. But yeah, generally the performance is... I was quite pleased and impressed, or just at least happy with the performance in Android. We'll come to Windows shortly. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention. Oh yeah, it does come with some... Oh, that's odd. I haven't seen that. What's going on there? I've lost my tray for some reason. There we go, back. I haven't seen that before. So it does come with some sort of Chinese apps installed, but all of them are removable, so not particularly an issue. CPU Z there, just confirming some of the stats for us as well. I did notice in YouTube it will only go to 720p. I don't quite know why that would be, but it does. So the cameras on the device. Now again, I don't think you're particularly buying this for its camera. The rear facing is a 2 megapixel camera, so a photo is 1600 by 1200. That is quite small. The front facing camera is 0.3 of a megapixel, so videos are 640 by 480, for example. I forget what a photo is. Let's have a real quick look, if you can bear with me 1 second. It's the same, 640 by 480. That's the best that sensor can do. And it really is quite bad. If you imagine a camera phone from maybe 10 years ago, that's kind of where we are. I guess you might use the device for sort of video chatting, Hangouts or Skype. It's not going to look great. This is me pretending to be on a video chat. So, but again, I don't know, does anyone buy a tablet for the camera? Do you use I mean, I guess I do at work. I use it quite often, actually, but I don't know. I wouldn't at home. Then, if we switch over to the Windows, you can see I'm using the OTG cable into a USB hub. It's not powered, it's powered by the tablet. Then I've got my mouse and keyboard plugged into that. And it really does then just operate like a Windows 10, PC, really. You can change to sort of tablet modes. You can get the squares and things that you slide around with your finger, but I quite like it in regular Windows mode, even using just without the keyboard and mouse. It is worth pointing out, when you haven't got a keyboard plugged in, turn on tablet mode to make the on-screen keyboard automatically appear. I found I kept tabbing on text entry points and thinking, well, where's the keyboard? I'd have to tap another little thing in the system tray to bring the keyboard out. And then I realised that you turn on tablet mode, and it automatically brings the keyboard up when you tab in a text entry box. But otherwise, as you can see, I'm using it, like I say, just like it was a Windows tablet, I suppose. We can do all different bits and pieces. Browse the web, browse the Windows Market Store. I did, and I don't think this is me just being biased, but I did feel the Android side of things was a lot slicker and smoother. There seems to be a lot more sort of delays and lag and other things when using it in Windows. But I guess, you know, it is a full-blown Windows 10 operating system, I suppose. So it's gonna be a bit more intensive on the poor specs of this tablet. I'm told you can stream games directly to the tablet from your PC. I don't know if that's just through Steam or just if that's done through the Windows operating system. I'm not particularly a gamer. It wasn't something that particularly appealed to me, so actually I didn't try. But you'll find other videos out there showing you how to do it if you so wish. When you finish playing with Windows, it's quite simple. Just double-click the icon to boot back into Android. The battery in the Chuwi Hi8 is 4,000 milliamp hours. Not massive, I guess, for a tablet of this size. My Nexus 6P has 3,450, so it's only got 550 more in here. I guess I would say, obviously, there's no quick charging or fast charging. It's just not that advanced. They wouldn't pay the royalties. You know, when you're trying to make a budget, cheap tablet, why would you pay more for those things? Again, because I've not used it extensively myself, I've not really been able to test the battery too well, but I'm told you get around, or I've sort of read around a few other areas, you're going to get about 4 hours screen on time, and it's going to take about 3 hours to charge. If we have a quick look, oopsie daisy, press the... So, just while using this, doing this review, we've had sort of 16 minutes screen on time. The device has been on for 10 hours in total. It's at 89% now. So I think I'd picked it up this morning, had it been charged last night. So it'd been on for about 10 hours, just sit idling. I think it was at 97. So it's, you know, it's reasonable battery life. It's not going to be like an iPad or even maybe a Marshmallow device where you can leave it sat unattended for days on end and it will just sort of power things down. It's not that advanced. You would need to charge it every 2 or 3 days, even if you weren't using it much. So I guess there's the danger that you're sticking in a drawer somewhere, and when you actually want to use it, you've not got power. So I guess turn it off when you're not going to use it is probably the safest thing. Hackability wise, I have found some guides of how you can remove Android from the device if you want. Now for me, actually, Android's the slicker, smoother operating system. Possibly you can do more in Windows 10, but if you're an Android fan like me, you're probably happy enough just with Android. I've not actually at this point seen a guide for removing Windows 10, so if you do see that, let me know, because I'll drop a link somewhere. I'll put a link for the removing Android in the information down below. I don't see a lot of support for sort of rooting and ROMs and things for the device. I mean, it's not a massively old device, so maybe they'll come, but generally I'm just not seeing that at the moment. I couldn't find any information on XDA developers for the Chuwi Hi8, for example. So, all in all, I think it's a nice enough design. It's decent enough build quality. I don't think there's any way you or anyone else would confuse the Chuwi Hi8 for a top end, or maybe even like a decent tablet. But for its price, I think it's really quite impressive. Giving you the option of either operating system is quite nice as well. Maybe ideal for a light user, or just to have knocking about the house for kind of, I wouldn't say for emergencies, but just as another option, I suppose, really. Yeah, so decent enough for, well, you can pick it up for varying prices, 60 through to 90. It depends on what you end up paying, import taxes and such like that. Yeah, I would say it's a good purchase. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.